going to do is we're going to wedge our clay, and that just prepares it for the rollers and gets it to the proper thickness. So when you're picking out your canvas, make sure you choose the correct canvas. In this case, I've got white clay, so I'm going to use a white canvas. If you have spec buff, you would use a spec buff canvas. When wedging, don't be afraid of the clay. You're going to do kind of a arcing motion. So you're just going to grab it and throw it down. Use the canvas to help you. Don't dig your fingers into the clay. You're going to flip it, rotate it, and repeat. You'll find that you're getting a hump in the clay, and you're also getting a little bit of a concave, strange edge. Canvas for rolling. You will notice that the canvases should tell you not on this side. So what you want to do is put that side down, put your tabs, if they have them, towards the rollers. Go towards the top. So give yourself 6 inches down. Center it. So again, here's the do not use this side, so that goes up. What we're trying to do is keep clay from getting in the rollers. So we always want our clay between these two sides, which will never touch the rollers. You want to smooth it out. This is at 1/4 inch where somebody finished. You have adjustments on both sides. When you make adjustments, don't do more than 1/4 inch on each side. In other words, I don't want to bring this side all the way up to 1 inch and then do this side. I want to stair step it. So I'll go to 1/2 inch here, and then I'll go to 1/2 inch here. 3/4, and then 1 inch. If you do it too fast and you don't stair step, it's hard on the mechanism. Okay, now that we're up to 1 inch, we're going to do our first pass through. Again, we're going to rotate. At this point, you want to start looking at your piece of clay with what you're making in mind. If you have a pattern, for example, if I was going to do a long skinny, I might not have rotated. I might have kept it like this because I want the clay going this way. I personally am looking for a square piece of clay, so that's why I continue to rotate. now we're down to a 1/2 inch. So again, I'm going for a square, so I'm going to flip and rotate. But this is where you would be putting your pattern on here and determining how you wanted to roll the next time. Okay, and there's a little mark that shows you the 3/8. This is 3/8 of an inch. So I want to see if I'm good. And what I do is I lay it up against the clay and then I run my finger and it should be straight across. If you feel a little lip there, you want to adjust a little bit. Typically, you're going to have to adjust just a smidge. So I could feel a very slight incline and I don't like real thick clay. So what I'm going to do is rotate it again. And then I am barely going to move this thing. I'm going to basically move it about 1 rotation. And it doesn't seem like much, but it gives you that last little extension of the clay. This is a good point if, let's just say I laid my pattern here and it was a little short on this side. I could adjust it again. Let's say I needed it just a little bit longer. It's still a good thickness, so I'm not worried. So I would just adjust this again just a little bit. And bring it back through. So when you're rolling, a couple things to watch out for. If you feel your clay is getting towards the end, if you have a big piece of clay, you never want the clay to come out from the canvas. So simply stop rolling, back up, cut some clay off with your needle tool. Once you have your piece, your pattern fits on it, then you're going to transfer it to a cement board. Again, we're going to use the canvas to help us. I'm going to pull this canvas up. I'm going to grab here and I'm just going to rotate. And now my clay is on my cement board. If your canvas is really damp, leave it out to dry for a few minutes and then come back and roll it up. If it's not too bad, which this isn't because my clay was fairly dry, make sure to put your canvas away. So you can see on the other roller, somebody was rolling spec buff and they left their canvas out. So remember, be a good studio mate and go over. And if this one is dry, which it is, roll it up and put it away from them. The bins are labeled with spec buff, white, red, and black, so you can find the appropriate canvas. How you want to roll if you don't want a square piece. Notice they're going to be making cylinders today, so they needed a long piece of clay. So in this case, you would just keep, as you're going through the rollers, flipping but not rotating. That way the clay is always moving this direction and you get a nice long piece. So always keep in mind what your pattern is and what you're making and roll your clay appropriately for that piece.